In the hills of eastern Kentucky lie many natural wonders. Whether it be the Red River Gorge, the Cumberland Falls, or the Daniel Boone National Forest, you'll find the Commonwealth is home to some of nature's finest scenery. But when there's beauty, there's also mystery. One of eastern Kentucky's most infamous legends is a tale of a family whose skin color was entirely blue. That's right, I'm talking about the Blue Fugate family. This legend was told through the mountains for decades, but whatever happened to the family? Are there any descendants still around today? And why was the family's skin so blue? My name is Justin Tabor, and all of these questions will be answered today as we discuss the mysterious tale of the Blue Fugates. This is Why So Blue? It all started around 1820 when Martin Fugate, a French orphan, emigrated to America with his wife Elizabeth in hopes of starting a family. They settled down in Hazard, Kentucky, claiming land near Troublesome Creek, a fork in the North Fork Kentucky River. Elizabeth was a red-haired, pale-complected woman described as the mountain laurel that blooms every spring around the creek hollows, while Martin was quite different. His skin color was a prominent indigo blue. This was due to him carrying a recessive gene called methemoglobinemia, and for the sake of that being a mouthful, I'll be calling it MET-HB from here on out. MET-HB affects how red blood cells deliver oxygen throughout the body, causing some rare instances where those with the condition appear to have blue skin. Strangely enough, Elizabeth was also a carrier of MET-HB, and as a result, 4 of their 7 children had blue skin. The family continued to live peacefully in Troublesome Creek for decades. It was hard to leave Troublesome Creek with no roads or railways, so the Fugates mainly stayed in isolation. However, gossip of the family found its way to neighboring communities. This led to a lot of different conspiracies about the Fugates. Some people said they were cursed by the devil, while others thought they had a rare lung condition. Either way, this led to the family being placed under a lot of ridicule and discrimination, causing them to seek further isolation. There weren't a lot of dating options for the Fugate children either, so they resorted to inbreeding, occasionally commingling with the Stacy, Smith, and Ritchie families. This continued for years, and further spread the MET-HB gene. Around the 1960s, the family had grown tired of the mocking. Descendants of the Fugates thought they would never be rid of their blue skin, but there was still some hope, and little did they know, they were about to meet someone capable of curing them of their condition. Dr. Madison Cawine, a hematologist at the University of Kentucky, began hearing rumors of a blue family that resided in eastern Kentucky. He was fascinated by these rumors and wanted to find the family in hopes of developing a cure. While he was at a heart clinic in Hazard, he came upon a strange pair of twins who had a bluish hue to their skin. This prompted him to study the family, charting their history with the help of nurse Ruth Pendergrass. He later diagnosed them with MET-HB, a rare form of anemia, and was able to finally treat them for their condition. Now, you might be asking yourself what this mysterious cure is. Well, it's actually not what you'd expect. The cure to their blue skin was actually more blue, methylene blue to be exact. Originally used to treat cyanide poisoning, the salt dye was used to cure the family's MET-HB, returning their skin color to a normal, almost pink color. For the family, it seemed like they were finally able to enjoy their lives without having to worry about their blue skin, except for one particular instance. In 1975, the last known main descendants of the Fugates, Benjamin Stacy, was born with purplish skin. He was the great-grandchild of Luna Stacy, who was the great-grandchild of Martin and Elizabeth Fugate. Although this was strange, Benji was eventually cured of his skin condition, and the legend of the Blue Fugate family was finally over, with the MET-HB gene seemingly eliminated from their bloodline. Now, while MET-HB can cause heart abnormalities and seizures, many of the children went on to live long, healthy lives. Luna Stacy, who was actually one of the bluest in the family, went on to live until she was 84 and had 13 children. There were also many Fugate descendants who never had blue skin despite carrying the MET-HB gene. Like how Elizabeth Fugate was, the gene either went on to become dominant in the children or they would be carriers. Benjamin Stacy, who was last known to be living in Alaska with his family away from the eye of the public, was the last descendant of the Fugate bloodline to exhibit the infamous bluish skin tone. He allegedly still turns blue in his lips and fingertips whenever he's cold or angry. As of right now, there are no more direct descendants of the Fugate family, but there are still numerous distant connections due to their relationships with the Richies, Stacys, and the Smiths. So, with the story of the Fugates seemingly closed, how's the legend holding up today? Surprisingly, it's still very much alive, at least in popular culture and medical lore. Since Benjamin Stacy's birth in 1975, there have been numerous references to the family across different types of media. Novels have drawn inspiration from their story, news articles have been written examining their genetic history, and several documentaries have explored the family's life deep in the Appalachian Hills. In fact, it was while reading some of these articles that I first became fascinated by the story, and it inspired me to make this video. But what really pulled me deeper into the legend was something more recent, and a little unexpected. In the early 2000s, a man named Paul Carrison made headlines for his striking blue skin, and people immediately drew comparisons to the Fugates. Dubbed Papa Smurf by the media, Carrison's case reignited public interest in the blue people of Kentucky. Many initially believed he might be a direct descendant of the Fugates, given the similarity in appearance. However, it turned out that Carrison's condition had nothing to do with genetics. He suffered from argyria, a rare condition caused by the overconsumption of colloidal silver, a substance he had been taking for years to treat skin problems. The silver accumulated in his skin and tissues, gradually turning them a bluish gray. Though he passed away in 2013, his unusual appearance and the media coverage surrounding him unintentionally brought the spotlight back to the blue Fugates. That renewed attention, while fascinating to the public, also reminded many of the surviving descendants why their ancestors valued privacy so deeply. To this day, many of them choose to avoid the media and live quietly, just as their family did generations ago. As we've looked at the story of the Fugate family and where the descendants are now, we have a better understanding of why the family stayed in the confines of Troublesome Creek. This isn't just a story of medical wonders and incalculable genetic odds, but also a cautionary tale to never judge one by the color of their skin, even if it's blue. The family continues to survive, just not as blue as they once were, thanks to the efforts of Dr. Colwyn and Nurse Pendergrass. Although the legend has concluded, it will remain throughout the hills of Appalachia for future generations to come. For CVM 320, I'm Justin Tabor.